It's any issue.
Hi, Tasha.
Arise and shine today, the 17th day of the month of May, of course, 2025. Welcome to Lumen Morning Diary with the winning team. When you see us here, my name is Henry Mudenda, and on the other side, I've been joined by, I have
Alice Longo.
Janara P.
Of course, we are all presenters of the Lumen Morning Diary, and don't forget to share if you're watching us on Facebook. For those that are watching us through YouTube, thank you very much for joining us. For those that are watching us through the television on channel 101 on Top Star, of course, we're looking at a very important topic today: cybersecurity in Zambia. Of course, we've witnessed a number of victims right now in our nation, Zambia, and don't forget that this show, we always give you the full package, ranging from the newspaper pick, sports, food for the soul. Not forgetting, we'll have our very special guest, Mr. Ray Hamonga, Zambia Police spokesperson, who shed more light on the topic of focus, cyber security in Zambia. Guys, cyber. When you hear cyber, General,
What
comes to my mind generally is the stories that we keep on hearing from our social media, especially women. China bwera maningi china ngena mu mind ni yakutati I'm not allowed to touch my husband's phone.
We've seen those videos actually circulating on social media. Whenever one wants to do that, they would say, think of cyber. But don't forget that this is a real thing, guys. This is something that has come to stay. It was just a bill, but now it was signed into law. Yeah. So,
and you know, one funny part about us Zambians, I always mention this here to say we are not really serious as a nation. In as much as this law is a serious thing, people are still making content out of it, you see.
Like making funny jokes about it.
Exactly. I feel, do you think there's been sensitization about this thing do people really understand what cyber security law is?
You know, the fun part is that we should all understand that when law has been passed in Parliament, it becomes law. I think we need to also develop the culture of reading as Zambians. We need to know what is contained exactly in that law.
Exactly.
Yeah, not necessarily depending on hearing what people say, what others will have to talk about, especially on that particular item. You know, many of the times, those that are watching us at home, this show is there to educate one of you who is watching us. Please sensitize your relatives, your friends, your neighbors, those that might be victims, especially of this law. And we are glad that Mr. Ray Hamonga will shed more light on this law, especially the purpose of this law, and also we need to know that this law is also there to protect us, to protect our information. You know, Zambia was at some point, anyone can access each one's Facebook page. When you report, since there was no law to protect such information, it was just there. And
Yes, and just on that one, I think we had for the past years we've been experiencing a lot of somebody would hack someone's page, like experiencing so many scammers and or somebody accessing your password, such kind of things. I think with a lot of sensitization about it, from me, I would say we need a lot of sensitization about it.
About this,
yes.
sensitization is actually needed.
Yeah.
Because when taking advantage, if you don't really understand what it is all about, taking advantage of misleading people. But if I have full information about it, then no one would ever like maybe give me false information, because I'm fully aware of it. I feel it really needs a lot of sensitization, as in what it is all about, what are the laws, what am I supposed to yes, what am I supposed to do? Because mostly the information that was gotten is that, okay, I'm not allowed to touch my husband's phone. I'm not yes, on what grounds? Like, yes, there is just need to more of it, more information about it.
For sure.
I have a quick overview, AI overview. This one says cybersecurity law, also known as internet law or digital law, is a broad legal framework that governs activities and transactions conducted online. It aims to protect individuals, organizations, and governments from cyber crimes, ensure data security and privacy, and regulates online activities. So cyber law is actually something to do with internet, something to do with yeah, I've said internet. That's Facebook, Instagram, and everything.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget that on this show we always give you the full package, ranging from the newspaper pick. The trains are also part of this show. General and Alice, of course, this is the month of May. It has come at a very high. I don't say the temperature was actually low when we entered the month of May. Of course, we've seen some sorts of circulations on social media to say the earth will move away from the sun and those circulations. But all in all, we need to know that around this time of the year, it always gets cold. It always gets cold. I think it's high time for those that are selling mazilamba. Let us remember that to keep home, to keep warm in most of the times that you go out, especially even those that send their children back to school. Yes.
Kumaboro zizira, pevana va school va masegulira. You know, that really hits me. Looking at this little ones, you wake them up.
There's nothing we can do. It's just like that.
I don't know, from my observation, I feel May is more cold than June.
Exactly.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yes, it's more cold
It's cold
than
for the past 2 days. It's been cold.
No, what she means is year in, year out, May has been more colder than June.
Than June, yeah.
especially when we are going towards the end of May. There's just that experience of this month being very cold.
Being very cold. Guys, what do we have in the newspaper pick, especially before we go to the trends?
Okay, picking from the Zambia Daily Mail newspaper, Zambia and Namibia agree the two countries to cooperate in areas of mutual interest like energy trade. To attain development objectives, Zambia and Namibia have agreed to cooperate in areas of mutual interest like energy and trade. So either the country should not import what is produced by one of them.
I take you to the Mass newspaper. The headline, Name Shame Drug Thieves. NZP Plus challenges new dawn to name big fish involved in medicine scandal. This story continues on page 3.
Then there is this 6 suspects break out of cell. 6 suspects have escaped from Winulunga police station cells while officers on duty were attending to a client at the front desk. The incident occurred on May 12, 2025, around 18 hours.
This is nonsense, says Muhambi. Police seized placards from opposition members at Lusaka Magistrate Court yesterday as the state systematically silences opposing voices. Some signs read, freedom of speech is not a crime. Stop it. Story continues on page 2.
Okay. Man steals livestock. A man in Choma is on the run after allegedly stealing livestock worth 76,600 from his sister's farm. This was in Southern Province. The story continues on page 2.
Seems the mast has a lot of arrest today. Arrest Chipoka Mulenga, Silumbe urges police. Police should institute investigations into the alleged racist remarks attributed to Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chipoka Mulenga against United States Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez. Leadership Movement President Dr. Richard Silumbe has said. Story continues on page 3.
Okay, the other story in the daily newspaper is Mimbula Mine to build 500 staff houses. Mimbula Mines Mineral Limited plans to build 500 houses for its employers in Chingola under a flexible ownership model. The mining firm, in partnership with Landworth Investment Limited, is set to launch a rent-to-own housing project following the successful of the land.
I take you to the sports in the Mass newspaper. Under 17 crush Zimbabwe as Princesses advance to COSAFA final. Copper Princesses cruise into COSAFA final with 5-1 win over Zimbabwe in Namibia yesterday. I have another story. James Chamanga with trophies he won whilst at Red Arrows. He retires from active football at 45 after playing his last game today.
Another story, just the last story in the sports segment. Mwape wants allowances paid. Lusaka former Copper Queens coach Blues Mwape has appealed to the newly elected Football Association of Zambia FAS executive led by Keith Mwemba to pay him salary arrears and allowances.
All right, there you have it in the world of newspapers. Of course, don't forget that on this show we will also give you the trends, what trended on social media around the week. Don't forget that whenever you get a story on social media, when it comes here, we say, this one is actually verified and it happened. Don't forget that social media has actually become a place which is not safe for such stories, especially the trends. People get to circulate fake stories. And in few minutes, Alice, just tell me one or two stories that trended on social media in general.
Okay, there's this story, like we keep on talking about the girl child's importance of education, just having that importance. We're talking about teenager pregnancies in Eastern Province. It has been reduced by over 1,000 in since 2023 to now. Despite it being reduced, the number being reduced. Despite it, the number being reduced to 1,000, Eastern Province still has the highest number of teenager pregnancies.
You know, it's good if the cases are reducing, but we really need to have zero teenage pregnancy. I just don't know. Maybe ni in social media they linga. Social media they linga. But teenagers of nowadays, they are exposed too much. This is the reason why we're seeing teenagers even taking their own lives.
For sure.
Just a few weeks ago, a 14-year-old had committed suicide. At 14, wale tontonganya pefia kuchita commit suicide.
Okay, another story on this on the trains, Alice.
On the trains, it's a sad story of a Zambian truck driver by the name of James Chisanga, who was found dead inside his truck cabin in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay, sad story there.
Yes.
General, do you have any story on the trains this week?
Yeah, this week we've seen this lady that has trended on Facebook, the one that was caught trafficking drugs, cocaine. So I'm like, okay, let's take Zambia, this business lady from Kitwe. Apparently, she's been smuggling drugs in the Copper Belt and in the Northwestern Province, is it? Or Northern Province?
Yes.
Yeah. And the other last story that I have is the fake notes, counterfeit notes.
On the Eastern Province.
No, this time. yes, this in the Eastern Province. Na kasa mamwe. It's like mametero na bakuka na mamosanga konse.
All right. There you have it. The last story that I'll talk about is about the news, the story that circulated on social media on that man that was hit by a car, and I'm talking about the hit and run. The Zambia Air Force have taken it seriously to investigate in the matter, especially those officers that avoided that man that needed help the most. There have it in the world of trends and the newspaper pick. For now, we'll go on a short break. Up next, we'll be joined by Ray Hamonga, Zambia Police spokesperson, to give us more highlight on the topic of focus that we're looking at today, which is cybersecurity in Zambia. We go on a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back, our viewers. Of course, the time that we've been waiting for has actually come. Of course, we are looking at cybersecurity in Zambia. Many other times, people have been wondering, what is this and why now? Don't forget that on the April 8, 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema signed cybersecurity crime and cybersecurity bill into law. Yet, we know that a month has passed, remained unaware many Zambians in this legislation. To help us discuss the current state of cybersecurity law in Zambia, we have in the studio our special guest, Mr. Ray Hamonga, Zambia Police spokesperson, to give us highlights. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and it's a good morning to our viewers out there. I'm glad to be here, and I must mention that I've been here for the first. Actually, I've been coming here for the first time.
All right.
Yes.
And for sure, it is at this very first time where we have to give our viewers very important notifications that on the cyber security. All right, Zambia passed the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act of 2025. Kindly share with us the background of this legislation. When did Zambia begin to think of this law and why?
Okay, thank you very much for giving us an opportunity as a police service to come and sensitize the public that we love so much to protect as a police service in our efforts to try and create a safe and secure environment for all. Mm-hmm. Now, you are aware that the world is evolving and the need for reliance on digital platforms has been very necessary. And in our case in Zambia, we started thinking about the cyber law as far back as 2017 because of the reliance on digital platforms of communications in terms of commerce, governance, and social interaction. Now, unfortunately, this has come with its own difficulties as well. Things such as online scams, misinformation, identity theft, cyberbullying, hacking of critical systems. So there was need to have a comprehensive legal framework that will be able to deal with these problems. You know that in any situation that needs to be dealt legally, there must be a comprehensive legal framework to guide so that things are not just done anyhow. Mm-hmm. Just like it is in church, you know that when you have an event, you must have a program. At what time is the priest going to come? What time is offering going to be collected? And what time are people supposed to come and sit? So even in the digital platform, there was need to have a legal framework that will spell out powers of the investigating authorities, which is the police, also how the court is going to prosecute somebody, mm-hmm. and what penalties they're supposed to give such a person. And that was the need for us to have such an act which will provide for the protection as well of critical information, infrastructure, regulation of cyber activities, and also prosecution of offenders within the cyberspace.
Mm-hmm. So what is cybersecurity? Well,
cybersecurity in short refers to the protection of systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. Okay? These attacks are usually aimed at, of course, like issues like accessing or changing and also destroying information that that is on the system, and also maybe extorting money using that kind of information from persons. It also talks about interruption of normal practicing businesses. In our context, of course, cyber security includes the legal and institutional framework aimed at preventing and prosecuting harmful online behavior that may threaten national security, but also public order and personal safety. Okay, mm-hmm. So this is what may be referred as cybersecurity in our context as in Zambia.
All right, how would you describe the current state of cybersecurity in Zambia?
Well, I think when you talk of the security state of in our country, as Zambia, we are making significant strides. Mm-hmm. Okay, we now have like in this case now a comprehensive law in place. Mm-hmm. And the enforcement mechanisms are being strengthened across the country. Mm-hmm. As well as Zambia Police Service, we have specialized units that are dealing with cyber crimes, and we're also doing capacity building aimed at ensuring that our officers are up to date, and these things, of course, is ongoing. Like of course in like any other developing country, we are still facing challenges such as limited technical expertise to deal with some of these cases. Of course, that is in some areas, not in all areas, and also public awareness is also sort of a bit of a challenge. But nevertheless, the foundation has been laid, and we are heading in the right direction to ensure that people are protected on the cyberspace now.
Right. So when you look at cybersecurity, how would you describe, maybe not describing, from from a national infrastructure standpoint of view, our critical systems such as government services, financial institutions, and health networks adequate, protected against cybercrime threats?
Yes, indeed, of course. Like I said, of course, when these digital platforms were being rolled out, we saw the challenge that were coming up with it. Like I mentioned, online scams, hacking, that kind of thing. So, of course, government and financial institutions providers have taken, of course, steps to secure their systems through things such as firewalls, encryption, and also intrusion detections.
All right.
Detection tools, like for instance, if a bank is hacked, it will not know there's a problem here, and be able to alert us as law enforcement, and then we move in. Of course, the act, as it is now, it mandates the protection of critical information infrastructure. Okay, and it outlines clear responsibilities for operators of such systems. Okay, while more still needs to be done in terms of cyber resilience and response, efforts are, of course, underway, and collaboration with international partners is being encouraged to further enhance national cyber defense. So we are, I think, on the right course, and this ongoing process, of course, like I was saying, the world is evolving. Even so, as criminals are also evolving in terms of how they conduct their criminal activities.
Right. How can an individual be found wanting regarding the cyber, like the Zambian cyber security law? How can an individual be found wanting regarding the Zambian cyber security law? Okay,
of course, people should not think that the cyberspace is a lawless place. So just like it is in our physical space, except that now we are using the cyberspace to communicate and talk. Okay, so an individual can be found on the wrong side of the law, of course, if they, for instance, engage in cyberbullying. I post something about you which is false, or I post we are aware with artificial intelligence that has come now. I can create something, maybe create a picture which is maybe in a nude form, and then get a picture of your head and put it there, and then post that this is the person whom we are seeing. That amounts to cyberbullying and harassment. Okay, so if you do such a thing, just know that you are on the side of the law. Sharing of false or misleading information, like I've said, this one, it's also a crime. Hacking of systems, if a criminal goes in the system of a bank, tries to get money out of there illegally, that is also another problem. If you commit fraud online, you post something which is fake, people start sending money to you, that is also another crime. Then you publish obscene materials. Of course, if you obscene materials, of course, you know that is talking about pornographic. Okay, if you post such things, that is also a crime, because you're corrupting the morals of other persons. Also, engage in identity theft, where you hack somebody's WhatsApp, start sending messages to people that, well, please send me money. You're stolen the identity of somebody and you're using it to commit crimes. That is another form of a crime. Also, harassment and discrimination. Okay, if you post something that's false about somebody who's not even committed a crime, or maybe done something through a digital platform, you are actually committing a crime. So simply put, we are talking of any act, okay, in the cyberspace that is done to injure the rights or dignity or property of another person or an institution. In that matter, you actually can attract legal consequences under this new act. So basically, we should not look at this act as a bad act. It's an act that is meant to protect each individual's rights. You have no right whatsoever to get something or false information, peddle it and throw it on social media about somebody, knowing very well that this thing that you are doing is false. That is why this law is there, to protect each and every one of us.
All right. So, how would you justify that that Zambians are well informed about this cybersecurity law?
Well, we acknowledge that public awareness is a work that is in progress.
Okay.
However, the Zambia Police Service, together with the Ministry of Science and Technology and other stakeholders, we are actively conducting awareness campaigns. Through the media. Like now, I've come here this morning. We are talking to the public. We have told them that you don't post false information. So this is where we are doing such things. And I've just told you that I'm just from Kwacha Good Morning Zambia, ZMBC now. And we continue to do this, of course, in our community to ensure that the community are aware, and even we are doing outreaches to schools and to all various places. We are also collaborating with civil society and private sector to sensitize about the rights and responsibilities online. So, like I said, please let me also repeat: this cyberspace is not a lawless space. There are laws as well that govern that space. So we want to encourage citizens to keep themselves informed through official channels and to report any suspected crime trend incidents. If you have been defrauded of money, or somebody has posted a picture of you that is in bad taste, please report it to the police, because nobody should intrude in your privacy. You are an individual, you have rights, you have right to privacy, just like that other person as well has right to privacy. So it's not right for somebody to post false information against somebody. Like, for instance, I like giving an example of myself, because nobody's going to hold me accountable, because I'm the one to talk about it. You go on social media, you post a picture that Mr. Hamunga has impregnated 2 police officers, and then you put even pictures of girls, and that he had promised to promote them, and then you are asked to produce those female officers that you are referring to, you fail to produce them. That is cyberbullying. That is harassment and humiliation. So why should you do that? And that's why these acts are there, that nobody in this country should wake up and just post something which is a force against somebody. You post that somebody has been impregnated and is sick, is in hospital. No. We should not do that.
All right. There have been stories that have been circulating on social media, especially touching someone's phone, especially your husband, and also you might find that someone is using a phone in a bus and then you're busy checking. Is that also related to cybercrime?
No, of course. Of course, look here. If I am having my phone and I'm using it, you are not supposed to check what I'm using. That you're intruding my privacy. Okay. It's just like I'm in my house, then you're peeping through the window. Well, what do you want to see? You understand? Yes, it's as simple as that. So, except that now, because of the way the cyberspace is, you can be seated here and be insulting somebody who's in Kaputa using cyberspace. And that's why this law has come in hand to say, no. This cyberspace is not meant for such things. It's meant for things that, for instance, if you want to advertise your products, if you are doing a business, you can use it. But not for you to sit here and start insulting somebody who's in Munirunga. Because you know that is in Munirunga or is in London. You know that is in Munirunga. So if I insult him here, you not come here and there and then. In olden days, if you want to insult somebody like that, you get on a bus, you go to his house, you reach out and start insulting. Okay? But now, because of cyberspace, you can just sit here and start typing things which are false. I know, knowing very well that they're false, and start insulting somebody in Livingston. Now, the cyberspace will not allow you, Cyber Security Crime Act will not allow you to do that. Because why should you, first of all, insult somebody in the first place? You shouldn't do that.
For sure. Is there the current legal framework sufficient to address today's evolving digital threats, and how is enforcement being handled?
Well, of course, this act is very, very comprehensive. Okay? And it has been aligned with international standards. Of course, it covers offenses, investigative powers, and protection of critical infrastructure, and legal and digital evidence handling, because we have to handle this evidence in a particular also it's admissible in court. So enforcement is being carried out by our trained, and the enforcement is being carried out by our trained officers in the Zambia Police Service in collaboration with regulatory authorities such as ZICTA, okay, and also technical experts. So because of cyber threats that evolve rapidly, of course, we are looking at periodic reviews of the law and continued capacity building to remain, of course, to remain necessary. So we'll continuously be looking at how the world is evolving in terms of digital platforms and also digital crimes. And of course, we'll continue to capacitate our officers so that they're able to handle these situations. And even the law also looking at it, we'll look at it and say, well, is it sufficient? If it's not sufficient to be able to appeal to the legislation that please, can we have this also put in place? But in a nutshell, this law is meant to protect each one's rights. No one should be able to abuse somebody's rights with impunity.
Right. Thank you so much. Your last words regards cybersecurity and the public, especially social media users.
Well, to our citizens, particularly social media users, we want please to tell them that let them use the internet responsibly, and that the cyberspace is not a lawless space. I continuously say this. I wanted just to think. What you say, share, or post online has consequences. Verify information before sharing it. Very, very important that you verify before you share that information, and you should also respect other person's privacy. Okay, and refrain from malicious conduct. Like I said, I gave an example of myself. I don't give an example of somebody else. This I also be reported that I'm abusing that person's situation. So I used my deliberate myself as an example. Okay, so the Zambia Police Service is committed to protect digital users, but each one of us has a role to play in this by building a safe and respectful online environment. Cybersecurity begins with you. So if you're going to post anything, ensure that these are facts, okay, and not things that you just want to make up and abuse somebody. So please, we appeal to use the social media. Please continue using social media. In fact, don't even be afraid, but ensure that when you're doing that, you do it based on facts and respect for privacy for other person.
All right, thank you very much. There you have it about cybersecurity in Zambia. Thank you very much, Mr. Roy Hamonga, for coming through.
No, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. We are humbled as Zambia Police Service that you have given us an opportunity to come and speak to the masses whom we love so much to protect as Zambia Police Service. Hope we're going to call us again.
All right, well, for sure we will.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You're still watching Lumen Morning Diary. For now, we'll go on a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Lumen Morning Diary. For those that have joined us, we're looking at cyber security in Zambia, and we had Ray Hamonga, Zambia police spokesperson, who actually laid a foundation and give us deep insights where cyber security is concerned. I'm sure you've learned one or two things. Actually, don't check on my phone. This is my privacy. General, and what's your point on that?
You know, my main target was just for me to hear what he was about touching your husband's phone. Yeah? Now he's given an explanation to say it's privacy. If you invade in someone's privacy, then you're breaking the law. Touching, I can touch if I want to call someone. Yes. Can I have your phone and call someone? But why you start invading his privacy, that leads to you posting people or things that you've seen on social media. You're now breaking the law.
You're now breaking the law for sure.
And you know,
I think I would love to also take it back to the viewers who would like to communicate with you. The numbers are there on the screen. Let us interact. I'm sure for now, for those that have been watching, we can still hear your views about where cyber security is concerned. Are you a victim or are you someone who likes, especially when you see something on social media, you fake it, you put it the way you want it to be, but whilst it's not true? Alice?
I think from the information that the inspector had given, it's a lot of sensitization about cyber security, cyber crimes. People out there, I think they've gotten one or two things and they are aware about it. The other thing that I want to share is that yes, we had a lot of scammers, and I think with this information, with these laws that have actually been brought, these things should reduce. You know, being a victim of it, somebody scamming you, somebody pretending to be you, and they get your money.
Especially where money is
and you know, you try to
I just talked about money.
Yes, they get the information, and I don't know how these people are so genius. How they access your account, God knows how.
I feel. Are you done?
No, I was not done. I was trying to explain about these scammers. It was way too beyond. It was way too much. I remember the experience that I had late last year where one had to hack my number because I was not using it at that particular time when I was out of the country. And this person pretended to be me.
A female.
I don't know. This person pretended to be me. He or she would get money from other people.
Wow.
Pretending, using mine. I'm a victim.
It's good that this law is here to stay.
Yes.
To protect us, especially those that do not understand. It's actually here to stay. All right. For now, we'll go on a short break. Up next, it's Food for the Soul with Father Arthur, Alice, and General. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you are watching Lumen Morning Diary. Right about now, we've just been joined by Father Arthur, who is going to share with us the food for the soul. Father, good morning.
Good morning, Alice. General, good morning.
Good morning, Father. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, and good morning to our dear viewers.
Yes.
I'm always happy to be here.
We are also happy to have you.
I hope so.
Yes, Father, we want to be fed. What do you have for us today?
Yes, so I thought we could talk about something that is connected to the topic of the day,
Okay.
the issue of cyberspace. Yeah. And I think the police spokesperson, Mr. Hamonga, gave us a very concise but important information about cyberspace, what it is, cyber security law, what it is, and how to take it. Looking at the same topic from a different angle, or let me say from a spiritual angle, I thought we could say today that instead of going online to insult people, to call people names, to start a fight with somebody, why don't we go there and pitch a tent? A tent, what kind of a tent? A tent of a church, a smoke-some community, or a community of believers in the virtual security. And I picked this from the words of our late Pope, Pope Francis, when he was on one of the occasions when he was meeting communicators, media personnel. He said, "Go into the virtual community, the cyberspace, and pitch the tent of a church." There was a time when people didn't know anything about cyberspace, about the virtual world. There was a time when everybody had to come to church physically for them to be fed with the word of God, for them to receive the Eucharist, for them to feel the sense of church. But things have changed. It's not everyone that is able to walk to the church physically or drive to the church physically. Others are in their sick beds. Others are at home doing other duties. Others are at work. They're not able to come to church. So why can't each one of us pitch the tent of the church in the cyberspace or in the virtual world? And I think we can try and go that direction. I've seen some popular blogs, Zambian blogs, posting prayers in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I know somebody out there would be saying, but why should I be talking about God as if I'm not a church? That's not my duty. My page is not about church or about God. But I've seen pages that are, without mentioning any name, but pages that are quite popular, posting prayers. I think it is part of pitching the tent of the church in cybersecurity. Even at an individual level, you as a person can actually post something about God. We need to clean up that space, because there's been a lot of toxicity, if I may call it. There's this tension, whereby you find somebody has posted a picture, very nice picture of themselves. You don't even know them. I mean, they don't know you personally, and then you just begin to comment.
You always have negative comments.
Yeah. Sheila, the makeup is too much.
Yeah. Always having an opinion.
Something very negative about that person. Why can't we post something or comment something nice? Even if they are not a perfect person, not everything about them or about that picture would be perfect. But I think they've made an effort. There's always that effort. When you put makeup, it is an effort.
It's true.
It's an effort.
It's an effort. Sure.
Why can't I recognize that effort rather than just focusing on the negative side? It's part of cleaning up the cyberspace. So we need to move that direction. And I think if we all begin to think like that, no one is going to be visited by this law to say, hey, you see what you said, you see what you. No one is going to worry about cyber law and so on and so forth. People are worried about cyber law because now they can't say those bad things about others that they used to. you know, and that has become a problem.
Yeah.
Why can't I say my opinion about it? No, you can't just go online and begin to say whatever you want to say about somebody. We need to be more human. We need to, even if we don't know each other in that cyberspace, we are human. You know, if I don't know you in that, I know you are still human. I may not know Alice personally, but you are a human being who has feelings and all that. So if you see that comment which I post on your photo, how is it going to make you feel? Sometimes we have to put ourselves in the shoes of others so that we have something nice to say. So instead of making or causing conflict in cyberspace, why can't we pitch that tent where we can all go and worship, where we can all go share something about spirituality, about God? And I think if we move that way, would be cleaning up that space.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I thought we could talk about that today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've actually noticed on my own, whenever someone posts things that are of God, they'll probably get 2 likes.
Yeah, the likes are few.
But if that person
It hurts.
yes, posts something that is ungodly, they'll probably have 2K
Yeah.
likes. It's like social media, I'll say it to say social media is there for negativity, not positivity. Because even in as much as they've brought this cyber law, people would still comment to say, now for the cyber law, you just want us to be arrested. So meaning they had negative comments about that, and they'll still make sure to tell you that they have a negative comment. That's why they'll say, now my cyber law.
Yeah, it's really very sad, you know. It seems, you know, when you look at this cyber law, many people are looking at it from the point of view of shutting you up. I think that is not the spirit. Even those in the political world who want to, you know, capitalize on that line of thought, I think that is not correct. We need to acknowledge the fact that in as much as we have freedom of expression, is it freedom of speech or freedom of whatever, there's a limit to that. You can't just go online in the name of freedom of expression to malign somebody, to say whatever you think about somebody. That is not right. There should be a law, and this is one of those that should give that limit. Are they gagging you? Certainly not. They are not saying you can't say anything. You can say something about somebody or about particular, even about public figures, but there should be a limit. There should be a line that should say, okay, this is where to end. Because where your freedom of expression ends is where the right of another person start from. And we have to recognize that fact. Unfortunately, before, people could just go and say whatever they want to say about people, and but I think we need to change that software. You know, there's a software. We are wired here in the mind in a way that when you just log in, first check, okay,
Who am I going to roast today?
that is the word. Whom am I going to roast?
Yes.
Go to these popular pages, who post, celebrity pictures, and you just want to go there and say something negative. But I think that kind of wiring should be purified. We need to begin to change so that we make that space a safe space for everybody. We make that space a place where we can go, not just to chat, but also a place where we can go and worship together.
I think what we post really gives us the impression of who we are. Whatever I post will actually tell, okay, this is what Alice is all about. So...
Yeah. And what you said, we've heard, I don't know how true, we've heard stories of people losing their marriages because of the comments that they put on social media. You find umuntu ni birthday yakwe, they post that person to say happy birthday instead of you just saying happy birthday.
There's one thing that we forget. The virtual space, cyberspace is connected to this space. There is a connecting line or a connecting dot between that world and this world. So we have to understand that when somebody posts a picture, we're talking about pictures here. Somebody posts a picture. The person that has posted that picture there is the real person. It's not a person who is a real person. So what you say about that picture is something that is going to affect the real person.
Okay.
If I post a picture with my nice jacket and you know, I'm feeling the vibe, and then Alice just comes and says, "Hey, Bamboga jacket, you come." So that comment is going to affect me as a real person because I am connected to that photo that I've. It is, you know, the people that are interacting in that space are real people who have feelings, people who have families, people who have jobs, people who don't have jobs, people who are sick, people who are not sick. It is real people that you might even bump into, you know, tomorrow, knowingly or without knowing. There is that connection, and when we are in our brackets, you know, posting comments, we have to understand that even if I'm putting that comment, why I'm in my bracket, I am affecting a real person out there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and this is why we've been seeing photos to say the people that really roast people on social media. Tapa no for back what are they?
80% of them.
Yes.
Oh, Father.
So in a nutshell, what we are saying is, let us make cyberspace a holy place,
Yes.
a sanctuary, a place of worship, a place where we can go and feel comfortable, not a place where we have to think twice for us to post anything or to go to, but a place where we can walk into and feel, yes, this is also my place, this is also my home, where I'll meet others, whether I know them or I don't know them, but where I'll meet others that are going to you know, impact me positively. I think we need to begin to think in those ways.
Okay. Thank you so much, Father, for sharing this important information. We are very much educated.
Thank you so much, and I'll be back
Okay.
next week.
Yes.
Well, that was Father Arthur feeding us with the food for the soul. For now, we go on a short break. We'll be right back.
There you have it. That was Food for the Soul with Father Arthur. Of course, he talked about cybersecurity. Let us make the cyberspace as a place of worship, which is very good. I'm sure each and every Sunday we see churches, all churches go live on Facebook, which is a very good thing. It's a plus. And unlike someone who takes their time, you know, thinking of those evil thoughts, stealing, harassing their friends, insulting on social media, which is not acceptable, and it's good that some of us are protected. Alice, it's good that you're protected. This law is actually there to protect us. This is one thing that we should understand. And Mr. Ray Hamonga, I'm glad that he talked about sensitization will go down to the typical villages of this country.
Yes, and I've actually learned a lot today, and it's good to be given this information. You know, it's good to have the knowledge iweweka. Not navera jena nanshimikira so
isiyenzo zile cheni ya mafoni.
nizache ya mafoni nika. Zache ya mafoni.
You don't touch your
when
partner.
my partner touches my phone.
I think that was clear. When you're married, you're one. It depends with the regulations.
But again, you know,
When
this
you
takes
get
us
to-
back to the foundation of your relationship.
Yeah. For sure.
Could there are those that are free, you can hold their phones, and those that are not free.
For me, my phone doesn't have even I think I would say
My phone is my phone.
your phone, you and yourself, and there you have it.
Aim before to boy end. Could the issues in Stanakambepo?
Yeah, Banji Mtwanga.
Puli abantu bebazimvela, those that are not in Zambia. They are harassing people that are in Zambia to say inekweni hili libeva cyber chani vuvi cyber evoni vakwanu. So how I wish Mr. Ray was still here to answer this
And
question.
considering that, yes, it's very Mozambique, but they are Zambians.
They are Zambians, yes, and they're busy provoking Zambians.
Yes. But in Shazaka and Derera, they will never come back.
This law actually, it's in the Zambian constitution.
Yes.
To protect a Zambian, to protect Zambian property as well as Zambian individuals. Don't worry. For me, I'm glad. I'm proud to be Zambian, and this law is there to protect me. For sure.
I think next time we have Mr. Ray, we need to fire him with this question. We need to know how are we going to deal with those people. Because Bazimbera iwe heni, tivovisa ibani vakwanu.
Isekwa tukuli.
I'll keep on posting you people. I'll keep on harassing you people.
Okay. The law will visit them actually.
Of course.
All right, you were still watching Lumen Morning Diary. We're talking about cyber security in Zambia today. Of course, for me, I've learned something, and Alice has learned something in general, as well as you, our viewers. There you have it. Join us next week, Saturday, at 07:30, same place.
Before we say our bye-byes, Henry, just an emphasis to the viewers to follow the live.
Oh,
the-
wow! I forgot that one. I was cruising. I'm rushing for the same event. Don't worry, our viewers. You will catch us again right there at St. Dominic's. Give them highlights, Alice.
Yes. Don't forget to join live the diaconate ordination that is happening today at St. Dominic's, where we'll witness deacons being ordained. Yes, it's happening today at 9 hours.
Before I close, General.
Before we close, okay, me, it's just an emphasis to the viewers. Please, let's be mindful of what we comment and what we post on social media. This cyber thing is not here to play Mwebantu. I'm sure you're aware of the trending stories that we've been seeing. You see? So let's be mindful of what we post on social media.
For sure, everyone is protected with this cybersecurity law. There you have it. You have been watching Lumen Morning Diary with us, the winning team, Alice and General. Join us next week on Saturday, same time, same place. From us, it's bye-bye.
Bye.